feeling very nice.
I've had enough of this!
Come back here, you're mine!
Hello and welcome to this review of Transformers' masterpiece, Thrust. I'm Chris McLeod, aka Diagnostik80, and I'll be gaspaloonging my way through this video today to show you this fairly recent Takara Tomy product, sponsored this time around by Kapow Toys. Let's start with a quick background of the character. With a name that wouldn't be out of place in the 50 Shades of Grey book series, Thrust is a character that shares a lot of history with his Conehead brothers Ramjet, who I have already reviewed in a previous video, and Dirge, who will be out soon in masterpiece form, and therefore will be getting the video review treatment from yours truly. That's me. When Hasbro got bored of Sharkscream, Thunder Knacker and Pie Warp, they utilised the retooled Diaclone Jet Robo Acrobat type F-15 Eagle and Super High Speed Fighter type, which was basically the same mould with new rear stabiliser fins and new wings with ducted vertical takeoff and landing fans, much like that of the Vanguard Omniplane from the late 50s, early 60s, and to a lesser degree the Harrier Jump Jet, but only in function. As I've mentioned in previous videos, these new Conehead characters had already been introduced before those old Seekers were hossed from Astro Train in the 1986 animated movie after getting damaged in the Battle of Autobot City. But I don't expect you to remember that, as I never really mention anything about the film. Ever. Hasbro were making space in a similar way to me when I go out for dinner, for all the new characters, and toys more importantly, so a massive throbbing cull took out a huge amount of major players and replaced them with a brand new shiny group of replacements. Thrust made a number of appearances in the movie, a few background glimpses during the Battle of Autobot City, and then getting run over by Prime during his "You Got the Touch" moment. No worries though, he pops up again on Astro Train later unharmed, only to suffer obliteration towards the end, heroically attacking Unicron. Even though the gigantic Planet Eater clearly destroys Dirge, Thrust and Ramjet in the film, they all appear in later cartoon episodes, so I like to think they somehow avoided death by flying inside Unicron and emerging from his massive horn. The first toy was released in 1985 and suggested transforming him with the Conehead down, which obviously differed from his on-screen appearances. No reason you couldn't leave it up however, so chill the out, yeah? He also got reissues in 2012 for the United Seekers Elites, and in 2015 in the Platinum Edition Seeker Squadron 3-pack. Thrust has seen so many figures over the years that I was honestly tempted to just skim through and miss a few out, but that, here goes. Following his G1 figure, we jump straight into his appearance in the second iteration of Beast Wars and the basic Beast Wars Thrust toy in 1998. The same figure was also made available in a 2-pack Shakur with Scuba in the same year. Staying in 1998, much like my fashion sense, Thrust gets a new name and a new Velociraptor mode for the deluxe cyborg beast Thruster. In the year 2000, when all the computers went wrong, turning the world into a sparse wasteland where only violence and terror reigned, under the watchful gaze of CompuGlobal Hyper Meganet, the eyes of the universe turned to beast machines and a new look Thrust, this time as a futuristic motorcycle. McDonald's jumped on the bandwagon as well, making a Happy Meal toy in Thrust's visage. I'm loving it. Hang on. In 2001, and possibly due to trademark reasons, a motorcycle drone was released that bore more than a passing resemblance to Thrust, so it's no surprise that he was redecoed and released in 2005 in the Beast Wars Returns line as Viacon Thrust. In 2003 we get a return to the G1 with the smallest transforming Transformers figure, before Armada took over with its animation and toys. Thrust was a major player in the cartoon as the strategist for each battle, and often clashed with Demolisher over his failures. He gets a new design and green deco first with his Minicon Inferno, and then a Powerlynx Thrust and Inferno that look more like Dirge in his G1 paint scheme, before reverting to his original maroon burgundy colour. Also, a cursed Armada Thrust appeared in a Unite Warriors Grand Galvatron gift set last year, seeing as we're in the Armada segment. He becomes a Minicon in 2006 and a Cybertron 2-pack Shakur with Anti-Blaze, and then Fun Publications retooled Classics Ramjet to bring us Timelines Thrust in the 2007 BotCon set Games of Deception that also contained Bugbite, Dirge, Dreadwind and Thundercracker. 2008 got a Universe Thrust in the Aerial Rivals multipack, and in 2009 he got the Bayverse treatment with the deluxe figure in the Revenge of the Fallen toy line. Wasn't in the movie of course, lucky b****. He got a redeco in 2010 in a 2-pack with Bumblebee. Rewinding back a year again though. No, too far. Forward a bit. Nope, back again. There we are, with his Gentai and Titanium releases to finish off 2009. In 2010 he gets a Generations makeover, 2013 a cute Creo, 2014 with the hideous merging of Waspinator to make Thrustinator, thanks to the Collectors Club, and then finally with the masterpiece figure I'm looking at today. Phew, lots and lots of bots. That'll just about do it for Horrible Histories. To the review. More beautiful cover imagery of the conehead with the most suggestive name, and that's saying something when you think about it. Anyway, he's MP11NT Destron New Jetron Warrior Thrust. Bit of a mouthful. Spin it round and we see his robot mode in all its glory. Features, specifically the launchers and all the cool things he can do in vehicle mode too. Let's reach inside and pull him out of the box. Very small loadout. He comes with 2 null rays and a tiny holographic pilot. Not much in the way of accessories, but it doesn't really matter when we actually look at this awesome masterpiece. He is so ridiculously good looking.
Wow, you're ridiculously good looking.
Take those clear rubber bands off the hands. The head sculpt is great, same as Ramjet, but the softer grey on the face and yellow eyes really distinguish him from Rammy Jizzles. He still has the massive knees of course, but this time they are made more prominent by being in a completely different paint scheme. At least Ramjob's knees blended in colour wise. I do like that they have stayed very true to the original toy's deco, but those knees are massive. The tail fins have a cute blue and white deco on them as well, just like the toy. The wings are so cool. The vents spin round on both wings to add another element of realism to the figure, and I love the shape of them in this mode. It's another bulky lower section, much like Rimjet, but nowhere near his Conebro's awkwardness. Just awesome. We also have the office paperwork.
You see, we're putting the cover sheets on all TPS reports now before they go out. Did you see the memo about this? Yeah.
Collector's card with pretty average ratings, much like the feelings towards these videos, and his instruction booklet. With that in hand, let me stumble hideously over this transformation by thrusting my way through it vigorously. Let's transform Thrust. The jet mode is just beautiful. Now, he is just like the original toy and character model in the cartoon, but I've always thought he looks unfinished without the tall tail fins at the rear of the plane. The same goes for this version. I can't help but think he would be even more awesome with the addition of those fins. That aside, the deco looks sensational here. The maroon/burgundy is easily my favourite colour and goes so well with the grey and black. There are lots of little deco additions that match the original and they all look really nice. The random durple and white knee/landing gear stand out a bit, but the gold and red squares on the intakes and the blue and white paint on the smaller fins look really cool. Of course he has his Decepticon logos on show, just so the Autobots know who they are shooting at. Once you have shimmied and wangled with him, he is pretty solid, but it does take a lot of shimmying and wangling. The guns on the underneath are very loose. It's a matter of lining them up and never going near them again if you want them to stay in place. The null rays can be put in either way, but I prefer them to stick out the front to give Thrust even more menace. Thrust me, I'm a doctor. I'm not a doctor. You can have them either way, but I would think it would hinder the vents from working properly in reality. It's not real, Chris. You can access the landing gear by pushing on one end, like so, and under the cockpit by flipping the cover and pulling the front wheel out. The nose cone can be removed to reveal the radar, and this time it is solid as a rock.
Solid as a rock. That's what this love.
Ramjiz suffered from a really loose nose cone, so I'm glad to see that this one is really tight. I feel like everything I say is an innuendo. You can access the air brake by lifting the panel that operates on a smooth piston, and the rear panels flip up so you can work on the engines if you're a tiny person. You can also sit in the cockpit if you're that small. Our little holographic pilot does like to rattle around in there though, like the last remaining Tic Tac. Glorious, beautiful, sexy and interesting. But enough about me. No, seriously, awesome vehicle mode. In robot mode he has his arm lasers, which are different from the other Seekers. They split and fold for the vehicle mode so it can be a bit loose. They will hold together when posed, but if you knock them they will fall apart a bit. The cockpit can be accessed in this mode very easily and the pilot can sit comfortably in there and will sound like a coin in a washing machine if you shake him about. The boob launchers are included again here. Hand articulation is the bane of my life, but due to the multiple points of movement and independence, you can get him in cool pointing and fist clenching poses. My only issue is the very loose index finger connection. I feel as though if this was more secure, the hand would be perfect, but lo and behold, it pops off with the slightest of flexes, and if you happen to be in a carpeted residence, then you will need to send out a search and rescue party to find it again. The wings can be a little awkward when posing him in certain ways due to their relatively close vicinity to the arms. There's quite a lot of loose back kibble here. I would have been totally fine with pegs to keep the nose cone down and to connect the rear panel. Not the end of the world, however, it all sits nicely. The null rays clip to the wings like so and sit out of sight until you transform him in his vehicle mode. He looks fantastic next to his fellow Jetron warrior Ramjeezy and has pushed into the lead for my favourite Seeker/Conehead so far. Where Ramjet had the bulky lower portion, Thrust minimises that slightly to give him a more balanced look. The deco is a big part of that and just looks more complete than Ramo Banton. Those wings are just so cool as well, so quirky, and the spinning vents feature is a win for me. Overall, he is wonderful. The mould has definitely been improved on with the stronger nose cone and more secure transformation in both modes. The colour scheme is fantastic, the vehicle mode looks gorgeous, the wings are so interesting, and the toy has all the features you expect with the build. He could do with tall rear tail fins from a design perspective, the giant knees are still funny looking to me, the arm lasers are slightly loose, and the index finger on the hand could be more secure, but other than that he is sensational. I cannot wait to reunite these guys with Dirge when he comes out, but seeing as I'll be in the US when he's released, it could be a while before the Cone Bros are together again. Also, Trump might stop me from going there completely, so they may be reunited sooner than I think.
Look, without
Diagnostik80's,
male modeling wouldn't be what it is today.
KapowToys.co.uk still have some thrusts in stock currently, so make sure you pick him up on the site, or even visit the boys in Deerham for a more intimate experience. And when I say intimate, I in no way mean anything by that, because that probably wouldn't be very good for business. Or it might be great, but legally I can't say that. So...
Bumblebee, stop lubricating the man.
Get that thing to stop, huh?
Thanks for watching this throwback review, and be sure to catch me doing this again very soon for many more Masterpiece figures. I've been Chris McLeod, and you haven't been replying to my intimate texts.